How are the players going to react in the dressing room with some of his critiques of the match? Lazy pressure, for example.
Well, I think you have to be honest with yourself, and it is the case. It's what happened. As I saw first half, but more in second half, and especially after the goal, I didn't see any reaction from the Spurs players, and that's the point that really worries me. You know, like first game of the season at home. You're 1-0 down. You want to show that some reaction to your manager, even to yourself, to your teammates. And I didn't see that, and that was very, very strange. And the press, as Mourinho said, the press was non-existent. They tried to press, but it was half-hearted, or it was just one player. They never pressed as a unit, and it was really for Everton to go through them.
But would the players be happy if Jose's saying it publicly to the press? I mean, it's one thing to have a word of the players in the sanctity of a dressing room, but to go out in the media, here we are, 10,000 kilometres in Malaysia, and he's saying that for the whole world to hear. Is that fair?
Well, I personally think that what Mourinho said was 100% accurate. So, if a player wants to dispute that, I think he's on a loser.
Not to dispute.
I really do.
Sorry, Gary, not to dispute it, but so often we see managers protect their players when they're speaking publicly, but what they tell them in private would be very different. I'm just wondering how the players are going to react to it being said so openly, more than anything else.
Well, he actually said that in the interview, that there are things that I will say to my players that I can't now say to you. So, to a large extent, I think he will be a lot stronger with his comments to the players directly than he's just been to the world. But let's be truthful about this. Mourinho can't stand there and say, my guys were fantastic today, they worked really hard, they closed down and deserved to win the game, and it's just the way football's gone, because that actually would have been totally untrue and we'd all be laughing at Mourinho.
That's a very good point. It's just I look back at his history also of comments that he's made about players publicly and how they react, particularly, say, at Manchester United and Paul Pogba. It does tend to sometimes backfire.
Well, you've got to be careful, I understand that, but he hasn't named anyone as such. Yes, he said that, the lack of press up front, but, you can argue strongly that that could refer to probably 4 players, because in effect there were 4 Spurs players who started the game who are very forward-thinking players. Dele Alli, of course, Harry Kane, Son and Moura. So, and defensively, that's where it starts. It starts at the top end of the park, and it didn't really get going for Spurs.